Mikey! Hugh! Get me the fuck out of Canada! God damn it, these motherfuckers can't drive! Ah! Good news! We'll be right back!
This is Hew Perry, the actor behind Thomas Gribbins from Haunted Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky, and you are watching BooTv. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And, as always, welcome home to the Boo.
Welcome to BooTv, guys. I'm your host, Michael A. Thomas, and this is my co-host,
Hew Perry.
And tonight, we welcome you to our first episode. Hopefully you love it. It's a hit or miss for both of us. We got some interesting things to give you a little bit of picture on this. We're going to be talking to two amazing guests. One of them is a friend of mine from Canada. She's a makeup artist, has her stuff on Facebook from DoA Studios. Her name is Tabby Weaver. And the other one, you want to take that one?
That one is someone I look at as my personal mentor in the haunt business, Mr. the Great Lucian Tomes Jr.
Awesome interviews we've got for you. Unfortunately, we did have a hiccup with one of our interviews. Actually, two of them. One of them, we only got good audio, and the other one, well, the video footage went a little bit wonky, but we still got audio. So we got a little bit of footage, and the other one's just pure footage. So bear with us. First episode, always some technical difficulties. And we would have news, which we're going to be covering partial of the news due to our news attendees.
I hear he's in the hospital.
Yeah, Mr. Grimm's is in the hospital, and Castle Carter is...
Fuck that. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Castle Carter because I wanted my name to match my personality. Fake. In order to bring you up to speed on what just took place, I was going to make a video of me monster hunting. I would have done it earlier, but everybody knows that nothing supernatural happens during the day. So instead I decided to wait until it was nighttime. Which I guess ultimately means that it's time to fucking rain. Now, normally I'd still be willing to go, but it's winter in Kentucky. Which means there's no snow, but it's still cold, wet, and I don't want to go. Last time I had to deal with really cold rain, it was storming. Mr. Close and I were trapped outside with chainsaws. By the end of the night, we were up to our ankles in water, which I don't know if you know this, really hard to run when you're 5 inches underwater. Not a whole lot of speed could be had on that leg up situation. How much more time do I have? Oh dear God, I got a whole nother minute. Normally you'd see me on screen with Mr. Close, but I never got a ride. I napped instead, and now it's raining. Honestly, I'd really rather be doing news right now. I'd rather be there, but because I'm not there, there's not really a whole lot that I can do from here. Which means this is your first look at the adventures of Castle. I just vacuumed, I'm home alone, and hungry. But as opposed to normal food, we have ramen and cookies. This has been Castle Carter saying... Goodbye, cruel world.
out there on the...
He's by his bedside holding his hand very firmly right now.
Anyways, the news guys are out there in the field doing their work as they so famously do.
In the hospital.
In the hospital. And also for you guys tuning in, we do this episode once a week, and it's always catered to a theme, and we try to have interviews, product reviews, so we try to give you everything that encompasses in the world of horror and mostly our realm of haunt. I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors that are helping us out with this. Our home, the lovely Haunted Hotel, wearing a shirt. Come every September through October, I believe.
Yes.
We are open. October is typically when we are open 4 nights a week.
Yes, well, this year I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe we're starting August 31st. And then once that rolls into September, it's going to be Friday and Saturday every week. And then October is when we kick it into Thursday through Sunday.
And it's going to be getting a lot more intense from my understanding. So do come check out the Haunted Hotel this year. Great haunt. Actually, Kentucky's #1 haunt.
I don't know why I just say a speech.
Yeah. So they're moving along to our other sponsor, Vapor Lab. For those who want to quit smoking, switch to vaping. It's a lot better. Because, one, less chemicals, 95% safer, and a lot of very good flavors. So, for all your vaping needs, go to the guys at Vapor Lab. For those who do not have a Vapor Lab, go to your local vape shop, and they should be able to help you and hook you up. But we here in Kentucky support Vapor Lab. Love you guys. Great customer service. And also, I want to give another shout out to The Scare Factor. For those into haunted houses and reviews, The Scare Factor has, across the state, reviews for everything, for all haunts, to include ratings, reviews, backstories, links, everything you need to know. You can find it at thescarefactor.com, which the link's right here on my face. Okay, now that you got that, moving along to also our other two, which are weekly haunt podcast, or no, Haunt Weekly, my bad, Haunt Weekly podcast. Great podcast, all things in the haunt industry. Check them out. You can find them on Facebook and on their website at hauntweekly.com, I believe. And also, last one is Haunters Against Hate. We are no strangers to that. We strongly advocate against people who are biased, racist, and just want to put down, as we are a community of friends, family, all doing what we love, with occasional a few bad apples, because I know your stance on that.
Well, also with Haunters Against Hate, the way I view haunting in general, I crafted a story at one point that I tell to thousands of people a year. And when you look deeper into that story, there's meaning behind it of, like, human unity and stuff like that. A message against hate. I view haunting as we bring the worst out in people and monsters to show to normal everyday people, so when they leave our haunt, they go home and think, the real world ain't so bad.
And this is true. So, check them out, support these guys, love what they do. I'm a big supporter myself. So check all the sponsors we mentioned out. They are not paying us, but they are supporting us.
But it would be very welcome.
Yes.
There was a review group in our area, and it was shortly after the Pulse nightclub tragedy in Florida. These guys who operated this review group were making all these posts on Facebook that were just really, really harsh. Slurs and all that. Travis, who owns 7th Street Haunt in Louisville, he and his husband Matt contacted a few of us other owners, we all stay in touch, and said, we're just not going to let these guys come to our haunt house anymore. All of us immediately said, you know what, we're not either. And so we decided, what can we do to show some solidarity and some support? And I actually wrote an open letter that all of the original founding haunts of Haunters Against Hate all signed on to, that we sent to this review group. Just a way of making our opinion known and doing something about it. And since then, it now has booths at trade shows. We sell t-shirts for Haunters Against Hate, and all of the proceeds go to various LGBTQ charities. Several haunts, we're doing one, are doing Haunters Against Hate nights this year that are going to offer discounts, and then also a portion of the proceeds are going to go to those type of charities. And so it's very important to become a support group and to bring awareness and to promote the idea of equality. Now more than ever, it's important that someone advance those kinds of issues and fight for those sorts of rights. It's just something I really personally believe in, and it's something that the haunt industry as a whole really believes in. And so it's just something that's dear to all of our hearts that we feel needs representation right now. Before Haunters Against Hate, I think a lot of people who may have been gay would have felt that it might not be a friendly environment for them, or they might have felt threatened by it, or that there would be a lot of people there who wouldn't be understanding. And so We want to make it clear that that's not the case at all. In fact, it's a very welcoming group.
Just about anybody here that you ask, what do you think about Fear Fair? Usually the first word they use to describe it is family, because that's the atmosphere we try to build around here to make sure that everybody feels like they're among family.
There's a lot of bonding that goes on because you're here so much. It becomes a hub or a central point. We've had kids who act on our cast and then go away to college and then come back and continue to act when they get back. You'll never find a more diverse group of people who come together and have a common goal and become such close friends than you will among a haunted house cast. And we want to make sure everybody knows that everyone's welcome in that family and that there's no room for hate in those families.
We want to make sure everybody feels comfortable, everybody knows and understands that no matter where they're coming from or who they are, they're always welcome here.
Obviously, no one ever wants to be discriminated anywhere, and especially here, you know, there's that opportunity where people feel open already and they want to be able to open up, and we don't want anyone to feel like that they can't be here and be happy and enjoy themselves.
Whenever you come here, you're ready, you have energy, and the people around you are only hyping that up even more.
So at the end of the day, I want everybody to enjoy what they're doing. If we don't have a good, cohesive group, then there's no way you can enjoy what you're doing. So the more comfortable the actor feels, the more comfortable the makeup artist feels, the better job they're going to do. So overall, it just helps improve the quality of everything we do, from makeup, design, acting, everything, the overall experience.
People just think haunted house generically, but there's a big difference. There are more family-oriented haunted houses that aren't as scary, and then you'll have other places that are more focused around the jump scare, that are just all about the scare, that are much darker and less detailed but more intense. I think we really fall in the middle. We're very detailed and we put a lot of thought into our acting, and we have a lot of speaking characters, and so we are theatrical in that range, but we try to always have a lot of jump scares too. The emotional and physical response of laughter and being scared or screaming are so close together. It's fun to get scared. It's more fun to scare people, but it's fun to get scared. You can't get this anywhere else. It's a personal experience. You're not detached in the form of a movie or a video game. It's just breaking that final barrier. It's one of those last personalized experiences of that nature you can get. There's just not much else out there that's like it. And so we're here to make sure that goes on for years and years.
So we're back, guys, moving along to interview with our friend Tabby up in Canada. Hey, how do you feel about Canada?
They don't exist.
So let's move in with the first question. How long, Tabby, have you been doing your art?
Special effects and face and body painting, I started about 5 years ago. I've always been an artist, but that just recently started within the last 5 years. I moved from tattooing into body painting, actually.
Michael, I'm triggered right now.
Triggered?
We just talked to a monster.
Monster.
Canadians.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So, my question, Tabby, to you is, how did you get into your art and craft of body painting?
How do you exist?
Gotta love them.
My dad's a tattoo artist, so I grew up in a tattoo parlor. We had it in our house. So body art was always something that my family's done. And I used to color all over myself. Like, I mean, just from head to toe, I'd color all over myself my whole life. Those little sparkly gel pens and stuff. And yeah, my dad taught me how to tattoo in my early 20s, and I went from there. And then I figured out body painting. I found like face paints, and I thought, well, maybe I can transform stuff with paint. And that's what I did. And then it moved into the Illusion 3D paintings, and that's how that went.
All right, Tabby, if that is your real name, I have a few questions about Canadians, because I think they're a bit too nice for haunted houses. So what do you know about haunted houses? Have you ever been in one? Have you ever worked for one? Huh?
Yes, actually, I worked at a haunt for the last 4 years. I've been a makeup artist at a haunt. It was Scream Park at Binghamton's in Kitchener, Ontario.
Right, Miss Canadian lady, monster, whatever you are. You say you're a makeup artist, but I know the truth. I know that you just put on disguises and you call it makeup. So what I want to know is, what is your favorite disguise you've ever put on, or makeup if you so prefer?
Favorite one? Ooh, that's a tough one. That would be a toss-up between the Venom that I painted on myself, and any one of my skeletons. I try to do all of my skeletons differently. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with Venom. My Venom was probably my favorite because it was extremely difficult. It was hard to do on myself.
I want to know, how is it...
No, what I want to know, your disguises and everything like that. You know, you're really putting a lot of holes in my theories here. So, how's it like feeling up on yourself and, you know, putting paint all over it, making people think you're a man?
I can do it on my own terms, I guess. But because of me painting my upper body and my face, I've had to teach myself to paint with both hands so that I can paint both of my hands and both of my arms and both sides of my shoulders and my chest. So that's a good and a bad thing. It was hard and it's interesting. And of course I do it backwards through mirrors, multiple mirrors actually, especially with the Venom, because I had to paint the mouth underneath my own chin. So I had multiple mirrors to seal the hard to get places for that one.
I'm sorry, I had a mental breakdown.
He had a breakdown, it happens. But, you know, it's been fun talking to you, Tabby. I just have one more question for you. And that is, how did you fall in love with the horror scene? As our topic for this episode is love of the horror. Or love of the spooky and all that goodness and stuff.
Canadians are very spooky.
And as he said, Canadians are spooky. So, how did you fall in love with the franchise that is known as horror?
I think that, again, that's all my parents' fault. My parents are both horror fanatics. I grew up in everything you can think of. My husband is a horror fan. I've always been into horror movies and like darker art. Like I've always been into, you know, I was never a Disney princess. That was never a thing for me. I don't know. That's a tough one. Working in a haunt and being a special effects makeup artist, a lot of what I do in film is for horror movies or like indie shorts that are all horror related. It's just, I don't know, it comes by me naturally, I think. And that's where my makeup comes from. It's more fun to do things scary. It's more challenging. I find it a lot more challenging than beauty makeup. So I think that's why I enjoy it more.
Thank you so much, Tabby. You've been a wonderful guest and stuff. We look forward to having you back on. For all you guys just tuning in, we just got done interviewing Tabby Weaver.
Yeah, we just sent her back to the Narnia closet to go back to Canada.
Back to Canada.
Canada.
Okay, Canada. And if you want to know more about Tabby and her work, you can check out DoA Studios or the link in the description below or right here. I'll pause for a minute. There we go. And be sure to give her some likes and comment on her albums or her photo work stuff. She's also got some work on her disguises and some makeup work on YouTube and some films, which are all covered on her Facebook. Go check her out now. And we are back, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. Before we go any further with our next topic and stuff about, you know, our topic of the week, we want to give a quick little shout out due to our news people being out due to unforeseeable circumstances, chasing Canadian geese and Canadian bacon all over the place.
I told you those Canadians are very dangerous. They ended up in the hospital.
Right? So, it seems the topic has changed to Canadian this week. But anyways, here's a picture of Canada.
No.
There you go. So now we're turning around and going to talk about something that, since our news people are here, the only news we've got, besides that Transworld's coming up. So, for those who want to go to Transworld, it is coming up soon. Mm-hmm. Be on the lookout. I believe Transworld has a website.
Yes, I'm not sure what it is. But if you Google,
I'll post it in the description below and stuff. I'm not going to waste throwing it up on the screen. Or maybe I will like this. There we go.
It looked a lot better than Canada.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is talk about Fear Fair. Mm-hmm. Coming up February 9th and 10th in Seymour, Indiana. They are doing Love Bites.
The most true expression of them all.
And 2 weeks, so it's going to be awesome, which luckily we just hit the curve before they had it. Stay tuned for episode 2. We're going to have a video of us, hopefully he'll be able to make it, of us at Fear Fair interviewing some actors and basically being
trolls.
Patriots.
Being trolls.
Being trolls or being patrons. We want to give a shout out. We love you, Brett. We love all of the guys at Fear Fair. They're like our cousins.
Although, if I don't see Brett this year in that baby diaper again, I'm going to riot.
And with that being said, here's a clip. Check this out. And we're back. That was an awesome clip. What'd you think of it?
Love bites.
Vampires.
Yes.
Literally the definition of love bites. So that was awesome. So we're going to bring up with that. Let's talk about our stay of the day. Our love of how we got involved in spooky and why we do what we do. Why we're even here for BooTv.
All right.
So you want to go first?
Sure. I started years ago, don't even remember when at this point, just decorating my front yard, scaring trick-or-treaters away, and one time my mom got super mad at me and was just like, why don't you go work for a place where you're supposed to do that kind of stuff? And I was like, you're crazy, Mom. So I ended up taking her advice anyways because she's my mom, and then went to work for a place called Baxter Avenue Morgue. Went there for 5 years, ended up making a pretty established character then, and then Lucian Tomes ended up...
This guy!
Mm-hmm. He ended up leaving before my last year, and I ended up taking over the introduction. Then I had some of the same problems he had, butting heads with management, and decided that I was going to leave as well. Ended up...
Hold up, I gotta stop you there real quick. Little pre-pause, hold the thought. Just so you know, we are not putting down any, quick disclaimer, we are not putting down any haunts. We love all haunts here in the local, greater Louisville area and all around. It is friendly competition, but just like all, there are those few occasional problems and bad apples. Just like any family.
Yeah.
Okay, back to
and that's just my personal gripes, that's all. And then from there I decided I was going to go move on to Haunted Hotel. I had a couple other places in mind, but hotels where I settled down on. And I thought, oh, this is fantastic. I'll be able to go back to my roots. I won't have to do introductions anymore. I'll just be able to work a room again. And then they asked me to do introduction.
That kind of screws me. Good job, Kevin.
And then I've been doing that ever since. Made Thomas Gribbins. They gave me a little bare bones story to work off of. I added some meat to it, and then the owner of the Haunted Hotel, Thomas Gribbins, has come forth after 25 years of exile.
Now, I do believe that you were asked by the owner of Hotel to turn around, take the story, and make it more yours and give it more depth.
I wasn't asked by Kevin, which is the owner. I was asked by Kay, one of the management teams. She didn't even really ask, she gave me permission to, because when I first started off there, I started doing a couple of nights while I still worked at Baxter, and I ended up working a room right next to Kay. And I said the one thing that I'm going to miss from Baxter is having that in-depth storyline, because as far as I knew, Hotel didn't have it. And she said, oh, we actually do. Explain the bare bones story to me, And then when the next year came around, she gave me the permission. She said, do the introduction. We want you to be a figurehead of the story. We want you to add some more story to it. Be a figurehead. So originally, Thomas Gribbins was just going to be a manager of the Haunted Hotel. And then Kay accidentally said that I was going to be playing the owner. And I gave her a weird look. And she said, or manager. And I said, I'll do both. I'll be the managing owner. A very hands-on owner. And that's how Thomas Gribbins came to be. Originally, the owner was never going to be shown. He was just going to stay a figure in the shadows.
A myth.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. Well, it was awesome getting you there this year. I enjoyed it. Sorry to jump in. Kind of got me interested. Got me going, thinking about mine.
I ended my story anyways.
There you go. So, for me, it's a little similar to your story. It's my dad. He grew up here in Louisville, over on Indian Trail, and he used to rig PAs and pumpkins and stuff with his dad. There's a lot more darker story to that. But when I was growing up and I moved here, got stationed near Fort Knox, turn around, would set a yard up during Halloween, just Halloween nights.
Same with me.
He'd sit there and decorate the whole yard while I was in school, and come home, and it's like this yard went from this tiny little trailer park yard to this, like, dude, this, like, got speakers hidden in the trees, wires, pulley systems. Like, what the hell did you do all day? You know, it was like a transformation, and it felt just different. And when people would come through to get their candy, is that whole, you know, transformation. You can feed off that energy. It's like, I get to fuck with people. And I was a big Jason Voorhees fan, and you, like myself, probably are a big fan of The Undertaker.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man, the Dead Man.
It's not Undertaker, but it's wrestling. So.
You know, the Dead Man was my hero and icon, him and Kane, and I used that when I would do my scary gimmick, lay on the ground, do the rise up, roll the eyes.
That's classic.
And it scared people, and people were like, those are great contexts. Before I even knew what contexts were. I was like, this is not context, it's my real eyes. Now I can't even do it. See how
Wait, so what you're telling me is you broke character.
Yeah, I broke character. I did the cardinal role. Which, you know what's funny is our show is called Boo, and it's a cardinal sin in our world.
Yes.
It's a very cardinal, because it's not scary.
Never say boo, never say get out, never say help me.
Or boo-tastic. Yeah, it didn't work. But, I mean, I pretty much had the same thing, and then a friend of mine who helped in the yard I grew up with, skateboarders and whatnot, he pulled me to the Foot of Screams. In Brandenburg, Kentucky. I worked there for a year, had some bad blood, left for 8 years, went on a hiatus, kind of like wrestlers and bands. Came back in 2015, enjoyed it, made a name for myself. Then the following year, really adapted to the character that I was playing and brought it kind of like you did with Thomas Gribbins. I got into it, made the character more my own instead of just a role, and from there it was awesome. You know, I met my best man for my wedding. His family, Toronto, made names for ourselves, and then of course I was getting tired of the mundane and the teeny bopper BS. A lot of us have dealt with teeny boppers, and the new guy who doesn't want to do anything.
Just there for
just
to play.
Little thing. If you're there at a haunt for the pay, you don't deserve to be there.
Just for the pay, or just to play.
Yeah.
Get the fuck.
I never named this place a haunted hotel. That's the name that was given to me. Everyone on the outside that wants to come in here and judge my business for something you do not understand. What did I do to turn people into monsters? From one family member to another. Welcome home.
Sorry, we took a quick little restroom break. We're back now.
But how did you get into hotel?
Oh, hotel. That's a great little story there. See, originally I had designed to work at Grimtrails.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the place with fairies and whatnot.
Fairy tale creatures that come to life.
Yes. I love Grimtrails. They're amazing. They took care of me and my wife. We were actually in one of their 2016's 2017's videos for Louisville Halloween. I kind of felt bad, but due to transportational issues and money, I could not commit all season. Mm-hmm. But I was originally lined up to be out there as Pinocchio. That didn't happen, and there was a lot that was lacking. They were working on other things that they didn't get the Pinocchio thing going. So I actually dressed up as Rumpelstiltskin from my wedding, and was out there with no scene trying to act. Did that for like 2 nights. Mm-hmm. And then the following weekend, Amanda, Jerome invited me out to the hotel for a trial run. And I guess Kay and them saw something in me and liked it when I worked the butcher room. Mm-hmm. That I was wanted back. Even Kevin wanted me back. So that meant something. I thought my leg was being pulled. I was like, yeah, they don't know. I wasn't that good. You know, kind of how as modest you are. So I came back and they made me a chainsaw guy, which was fun. I enjoyed it until the end of the season where I was like, put me in the damn house. It's cold and my arms hurt.
And those chainsaw boys love to blame me.
I don't blame no one. I love to run and I love it and stuff and things we could do, but it's just too physical.
Some of them blame me. They blame the pace, but I can't control that. Half the time.
I love the pace. Otherwise, you're just bored. And half the time, we're out, you know, when we're dead, you're waiting, we're right by the door listening to the spill and watching people come in and fucking with them. It's like, let's be crowd pleasers. You know. So, I mean, there's perks to it.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, you know, that when you're going slower, it's fun because you get more chance to play with them as they're going out. Chasing them down the street.
You get that chance. I get a minute and a half to just talk.
Yeah, but we all love it. I don't know, the Christmas was fun. I love the Christmas one.
Welcome home for the holidays.
Mr. Jingles, take them down.
I forgot about that.
That's always going to be engraved in my head every time. So, yeah, that's basically how I got into it. And then, furthermore, I met my wife through wearing wacky contacts and stuff. My signature red and white, which I threw away because they were past their expiration. So, I mean, I love everything about the horror and just all that. And I guess I have a love obsession and a boner for Tales from the Crypt. You know.
See, I love Halloween. Never been big on horror. Only been okay with like one horror video game. Never really been that much with horror.
Speaking of games,
movies.
we were talking about the other day. We were going to talk about that game you were telling me about.
Oh, Outlast. It's like the only game that I've ever been able to get involved in. And
unfortunately, we cannot show pictures of that as we do not have rights just yet.
Not just that, it's pretty friggin' gruesome.
Yeah.
It's my main gripe with a lot of horror video games or horror movies. Main gripe, not always correct.
Like Silent Hill, Resident Evil.
My main gripe is they rely a lot on jump scares. Take Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, there's a lot of suspense that the animatronics are going to get you, but ultimately the scare is just the thing going in your face going, and that's it. And,
which is pretty much Resident Evil right there.
And so I've never liked those. It's just it's cheap. It's necessary in moderation, but it's cheap if you use it way too much. Outlast was like the first ever horror game that I ever encountered that I actually... There are jump scares, but it's very few and far between, and if you get scared, it's your fault. You found the person trying to find you. This music starts playing, and you have to run away or they're going to kill you, and you have to run away and hide, and then that adds suspense because they might find you. Like, that's the only game that I've ever been able to get into horror-related. There's only been one movie horror-related that I've been able to get into, and it falls along the same lines as that. It's suspenseful, but I don't think it has a single jump scare in it. And that's magic.
Our Mr. Grimm would put it, favorite horror film better be Repo the Genetic Opera. So, That's freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we all love horror, and it brings all of us from different walks of life together. Gamers, nerds, lawyers, Brett. You know, all kinds of people together. And then the most humble, you know, for me, Kevin. That's a hard-working man. Also, for all those who love Haunted Hotel, please go check out Brandenburg's Jailhouse Pizza. It's actually really haunted from what I hear. We will be having a segment talking about paranormal-related activities coming soon. We're still working on a list. But for those who are paranormal hunters, go check out theshadowlands.com. They've got all the locations in your state and local areas that are actually haunted and been investigated at least 3 to 5 times. So check them out. I know we have one in our own backyard, and they do a haunt themselves during the haunt season, and that is Waverly Hills, owned by the Mattingleys. So check out Waverly Hills. They do haunt tours. I think it's like $100 for a tour.
I'm not sure. I've never looked it up.
So, but I mean, there's so much about this culture of ours that's just unique, and that's how I met my wife. We're getting ready to turn around, interview Matt's idol.
Well, idol, admittedly, I'll go ahead and say this is probably a bit too far, but I will say mentor. For me, I've molded myself around what he's shown me over the years. I spent 4 years at Baxter Avenue Morgue watching this man doing what he did. By my second or third year, I started making my own character to kind of rival his character. And then once Hotel kicked off, I was able to make my own version, technically, of his character. Very drastically different, but I've heard people say, "Oh, that's his character of Haunted Hotel," and that brings a warm feeling to my heart. So I love Lucien. I'm excited to talk to him.
All right, Lucien Thoms. Did I say it right?
Lucien Thoms Jr.
Lucien Thoms Jr. I'll let him say it because he says it better and cooler. So my first question, Mr. Lucien, or Luce is what I'm going to say,
Luke.
is...
You can call him Luke.
Luke. There you go. Mr. Luke. I keep thinking Skywalker. Mr. Luke, is how did you come to be in the haunt industry?
Oh gosh, well it goes back when I was 15. 41 years ago, believe it or not. I'd sort of gotten the acting bug. So I'd been a big fan of movies for years. I started looking around, like, okay, well, an acting school, a week or something. And it was my late father, who was normally a very practical person, very fun guy. Like, hey, at Louisville JC's haunted house downtown is always looking for actors. Right there. So they were having auditions for one season. Went down there, and even though their usual age hiring actors was 16, they went ahead and hired me anyway. A legend was born.
This compadre knows a thing or two about this question, but I want to hear your perspective on this. Now that I've spent about 4 years, it's getting to be over half my haunt career doing introductions. There's a lot of differences between introduction speech and normal haunt acting. I'll give one example, and that is you get like a minute to talk to people, as opposed to like 10 to 15 seconds to interact with them. But what is your opinion on that? How's it like doing intro as opposed to normal acting in haunt?
As Matt tell you, sometimes things will happen, and you've got to see why you'll take. You know, we meant to do that.
That's fascinating. I mean, I know your view from it, and hearing his is pretty awesome.
All these years, and I'm still learning from him.
Yeah, right? How hard is it, or what's it like when it comes to being creative in the world of haunting?
It's one of those things, if you can master the art of violating someone's personal space without actually touching them. There have been times before where I've stared down people who were easily about a good 6 inches taller than I am. And it's one of those things, you just have to give them the Dracula glare like this. to sort of stand up almost nose to nose to them, but don't touch them though. And you can almost see them start to shrink. It's like if you it's like if you have a dog that's misbehaving and you yell at it, and it's like that kind of thing.
That's awesome, Mr. Luke. see, it's going
Just make it easier.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm learning from the guy, and this is the guy that Mr. Grimm and you were telling me about.
And that is why we brought him on. Now, there's another thing that I know a little thing or two about, mainly, again, with introduction speeches, but it can pertain to normal acting as well. You don't always have to do this, and I haven't always done this. Sometimes you're supposed to tone things down for kids. Working for a hotel, things are a lot more gruesome. So when I do tone things down, I'm more so toning them down to maybe like a PG-13 at least. I have done in the past where like kids are scared, they don't want to be there. You can tell they don't want to be there. Their parents drag them in, so I give them a piece of candy. I show a little bit of heart.
Not candy canes, right? That's
no,
my thing.
No. Pixie sticks. Just show a little bit of heart from Thomas Gribbins to these kids, or interact with them. Also, I like to curse a lot. I will tone down the cursing when it comes to kids. I won't full on take it out, but I'll tone it down. Instead of saying, the F word, I'll say damn or something else, or hell, something more appropriate for children. But how do you tone things down for children when they come through your haunt?
I've encountered people before who brought in kids who were, for lack of a better term, about ready to piss themselves. And I have a little pep talk that I like to give the small kids who are really scared. I tell them, a great many grown-ups have been too afraid to come this far. So by you being here right now, that makes you very brave indeed. And that gives them a little confidence boost, that sort of thing. It's like I tell people, I'm there to entertain. I'm not there to traumatize for the rest of their lives.
Well, that is certainly interesting. I mean, like I said, I'm learning from a man that y'all have learned from.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that was a very good question, considering the fact that, my mentor, the one and only Joker, always told me that even with kids, you always go hard. I was never taught toning it down, because I started out that way, toning it down, and then it was retrained that by toning it down, you're not putting on the best show you can. And when it's like, you have those parents probably like, oh, you're cussing my kids around. You're the asshole parent who brought them. And I'm in the business, Mr. Lucian, or Luke did say, he's not in the business of terrifying children, but, that's part of my job.
Well, I would argue that toning things down doesn't necessarily take away from the show that you're giving. It can, if you take it too far. But I'm still giving the same speech, giving the same emotions in front of these kids, just changing up the words.
In a way, it kind of forces you to be more creative.
Yes. And it also, giving candy to children. Yeah, I'm giving them candy. I'm trying to make them feel a little bit more comfortable so that they'll try to get through the rest of the house. But to those parents, at the same time, a strange man just gave their children candy.
I didn't think of it that way. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to Mr. Lucian for being on. It was awesome having those two people on here, especially Canadian.
Not the Canadian.
We love you, Tabby, or at least I do. He's...
And Lucian, thank you for bringing the mood back up after that monster was here.
But, yes, like I said, there was another news that I just thought about, and I can't remember. I think it was a fart.
A brain fart or a back fart?
Could be a bit of both.
Oh, Jesus.
I did have Canadian bacon earlier.
Get away. We call that ham in these parts. Not Canadian bacon.
I love Canadian bacon. I don't know about you. Me and my compadre, my co-host, are going to, this is the part where we're going to talk about different products. We'll try to do one each episode, sometimes not, change it up. One product I do want to talk about is
oh
my
my
mask.
God, you got ham.
Yes, we've been talking about Canadian bacon. So.
Ham.
Okay, well, it actually is a hog. It's
the same thing. They both taste delicious.
Yeah, I mean, either or. As you know, this was the character I had at a hotel this year, or this past year. 2017 was an awesome year. Just wanted to say that. Quick notable mentions: I got married, dressed as Rumpelstiltskin to my lovely wife, who is right here. There we go.
I just turned into her, didn't I?
Yeah, maybe.
I didn't look down. I hope you know that. It's okay.
No, he didn't turn.
See anything.
You see, no magic
here. I didn't see anything. The Canadian witch is gone.
I just flashed the screen. But now this mask, I paid $80 for, believe it or not. It's latex, and it's by a company out of Pennsylvania. I believe it's Pennsylvania, called Lot 27 Effects. They do a lot of pig mask. This one looks more like this thing you see off of Mushroom Head. Did have a bull ring, which I lost at hotel.
Oh, you lose everything at hotel.
I once took a woman's big hoop earring and used that as a replacement.
I thought you were going to go somewhere way different with that.
No, one time at band camp. Well, we're not even getting into that story. Anyways.
I loved band camp.
It's just nothing but non-quarter sex orgy. Sorry, kids.
I just played my trumpet. What are you thinking?
No comments. The two horn. Anyways, this is a really awesome mask. It's lasted 2 seasons. The hair's pretty dope. I was kind of going, you ever seen the old Ninja Turtles?
Yes.
Was it Rocksteady?
Bebop and Rocksteady. I don't know which one's which.
Yeah, well, one of them, I think it's Bebop. I think, yeah, it's Bebop. Rocksteady was the other one. Bebop was the pig, and that was kind of what I wanted for a mask. So that's how I got this. And came up with the name, the Joker dubbed me Snort, because the original concept was I was supposed to snort cocaine and go wild. That never happened because, I had to be PG-13, and that's just not PG. And there's the whole epidemic of bad drugs across the country, and then the whole hysteria about clowns, It's been non-stop siren. We've been getting hit on haunts so much.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I love this mask. I actually loaned it to Man and Joker in the intent that they would open their own haunt. But Lot 27 Effects does awesome work. They actually put their name somewhere on here. The only thing I can say that I had issues with this mask isn't their fault. It's my small head. Someone like him, perfect head, perfect fit.
This is not a perfect head. This is an abnormally large head.
Yeah, but the abnormally large head's typically what masks are generally accustomed to. My mask would all fit you properly.
Maybe.
Because your head's made, they're made to be tight. And
no hat
small.
Fits me.
So, I mean, yeah. But this is an awesome mask. Check out Lot 27 Effects on Facebook. It's the only thing I know they have. They are actual hunters themselves.
Oh.
They run haunt. I believe Jordan Jones, the guy who started Clown Lives Matters, works with them or knows them. So check them out. Here's the link on Facebook. Now that you got that snapshot, moving along.
Wait. I just want to say, people who make special effects products, who knew they also made delicious bacon? See?
But I'm not edible.
Says you.
I'm not cannibalistic pig. I eat bacon.
That makes the bacon even better.
But I love people more.
Makes the bacon even better.
He tastes like bacon. Anyways, we're back, guys. It's been quite a great first episode, I think. Hope you guys love it. I can't wait to see the finished product.
The Canadian thing brought it way down. Way down.
Look at the bacon. Look at the bacon. Canadian bacon.
Witchcraft. Canadian witchcraft. Right there. It's that Tabby girl, wasn't it? You talked way too much to her.
No, my wife would kill me. And she's married.
Wait, how do you know your wife isn't her?
Good question.
Witchcraft.
Maybe you're not really here. Maybe.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah, I am. I'm here. Okay, good. Okay. We good?
Okay, step to the side real quick. Oh, see, check that out. Just fucked with you.
You lying scumbag.
Next time I'll explore the actual cohesive magic of putting my hand through. That takes a lot of practice.
Kalima. Kalima. What you talking about? I love that.
Well, it takes magic to do it, and I'm still working on that. But, you know, in the bright side, it has been a great show. In the Haunt community, you know, we talk about this love of what we do and of why we love spooky.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I keep coming back to is, you know, you've had bad times, I've had bad times. We've all had bad times, just like any family reunion. You're going to have those bad apples and those people you can't stand. But, you know, we're all doing what we love to do. And we're all here to entertain, just like what we're doing right now. We're trying to make it entertaining and be informative. But, you know, it's the fact that we enjoy what we do, and for a lot of us, it's either a stress relief or it's, I guess you could say in a way to face your own demons that you struggle with in society.
Just a broad term of it would just be it's an outlet.
Yeah. I mean, everybody does it for their own reasons. And sometimes it's personal, sometimes it's just a big Canadian bacon in your face. Key word, Canadian bacon. So,
Ham.
Okay, ham. But we want to we want to say thank you. Wouldn't be a complete show without a few mess ups here and there. I want to thank everybody for coming and watching this, and hopefully you will tell your friends, and we'll come back and have more stuff for you. We are working on the next episode, which we're supposed to have our Castle and Mr. Grimm back with us, and also video of us at our nice little Love Bites tour, because it does sometimes.
Hope I get bit.
I bet you do. Not in the blood way either.
What?
Never mind, it's over your head. But I believe it's your turn to do the closing out. Oh wait, how can it be your turn? Because this is our first episode. So I'll take the next one and you get this one. You had it down earlier.
Alright. So there's just a few things I want to say before we close off. Thank you very much for joining us on this inaugural episode of BooTv. So without any further ado, we love you all like family, true love. And one last thing, stay spooky, my friends.
And be bootastic.
I need a beer.
We gotta vape. Later.